My name is DevinClayburn, and for my presentation I will be showing you how to do Dutch oven cooking. As you can see, I've already started the coals and they're about ready. When the things you want to be aware of, you want to do it in an area that's not going to start a fire, it's clear from grass and weeds. Also, the easiest briquettes to use are Match Light or Easy Light. Those usually light up without any problems. You can use the others, it's just more difficult. Now the coals are just about ready, so we're going to move over and start preparing the food and we'll be good to go. Alright, to start off at preparing our food, I'm going to do the potatoes first, since they kind of take a little bit of a process to begin with. Kind of doing it for a family tonight, so my proportions are a little larger than I suggested in my paper. So as you can see, the proportions can vary. And I also have already pre-sliced and peeled the potatoes. Well, actually, I had help doing that, but either way. So I've got my cut potatoes here and some chopped onion. I'm going to go ahead and mix them together and attempt to stir this. It's really full. So all I'm doing now is kind of mixing the onions in amongst the potatoes. Putting some in this other container so I can stir it a little bit easier. Alright, not going to be able to get it perfect just because of how full it is. So now we're going to mix our can of cream of cheddar cheese in with the potatoes. Okay. And again, I'm going to gently stir this in. What the can of cream of cheddar cheese is for is it helps give the potatoes a little bit of moisture so they don't burn, and go from there. I realize I didn't stir that up very good. It doesn't necessarily need to be perfect, because as it cooks, you're going to continue to stir it. But what I have here is I have a few pieces of bacon, and I'm going to tear them in half and line the bottom of this pan, or Dutch oven, and that just adds additional flavor to the potatoes. Okay, now that I've got the bacon in the pan, I'm going to go ahead and add the potatoes on top of it. As you can see, it is very full, but the potatoes as they cook are going to cook down, and so they're not going to be nearly as full by the time we're done cooking. And the potatoes are basically ready. Alright, now to prepare the chicken, it's a much simpler process. This is a very simple Dutch oven chicken recipe. You take your frozen chicken breasts, put them into your Dutch oven. I'm just going to spread them around and get them kind of even there. And you want to add Italian dressing. And we're just going to open and dump some Italian dressing on these chicken. As you can see, I'm even using multiple brands of Italian dressing. Partly that's because that's what we had, and it doesn't really matter, personal preference, but it's all the same. So If I can get this bottle open. There we go. You always want to shake it up good before you put it in there, just so that way all of the Italian is mixed up, so that way all of the oil doesn't go into one spot of the pan. You can hear my family in the background. That's who we're cooking this all for, so because there's no way I could eat all of this myself. So as you can see, it's a little shy of all of the chicken fitting underneath the Italian dressing. That's totally fine, as it'll cook, they'll fall down into it. But to help out with that, I have a little bit of water, so I'm just going to raise up the level a little bit, and that kind of helps get all of your chicken covered. And the chicken is ready to go, and I'm going to put the lid on it, and we are ready to start the potatoes and the chicken cooking. So there we go. Okay, next for putting the Dutch ovens onto the charcoal, there's charts on the internet that can tell you the temperatures that you need and how many charcoal on top and on bottom you need. So for the 12-inch Dutch oven, I need 8 on bottom. And so I've got, if you have a little bit more, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to help it out, because as long as you keep checking what you're cooking, you're going to be okay. But if you follow those charcoal guidelines, you can put as many. It'll help out with the cooking. Now this is the potatoes, and I put that on there. Now I'm going to put some on top. It requires 17 on top. You always want to make sure you do this with tongs, and if it's still too hot for you, make sure you have some gloves on. And you kind of spread them off evenly on there, and since some of those aren't completely gray, I'm just going to add a couple extras, like I said. And that sets the potatoes cooking. This one here is the chicken. And since it's a 14, it's going to require 9 on the bottom. And since it's so big and basically all it's going to be doing is boiling the chicken, I'm going to add a few extra just to help the heat go into it. I've got those underneath it. They're going to start heating it up. And then I add a bunch on top. And be careful, make sure you have tongs that have plastic on them, or you're wearing gloves, because this metal does start to get hot because of the heat transfer. And now they'll start cooking, and then we're going to start checking them every 10 or 15 minutes to see how they're cooking, and to make sure we stir them, and we'll go from there. We're going to check the chicken here. I think we're it's about done. I've got a meat thermometer here in my hand. It's got to reach 165. So I'm going to stab a couple of these bigger slices here. make sure the meat thermometer goes in it really good. And as you can see, that slice is just right at 160, so that one's about there. That one's 165, so chicken's just about done. By the time I get the coals off of it, it'll be good enough. But again, and here we are at the end. That's all cooked and really easy. So as I've shown you, it was really easy to prepare and really good. So hopefully you enjoy and create some of your own.